Of topics that include addictions, religious abuse, and recovery. This live platform offers meaningful questions and answers, a counseling continuum, and valuable feedback from professionals and others who have been through the process and are healed, forgiven, and reconciled. If they can achieve this, so can you. This program can be heard on iHeart, Stitcher, Amazon Music, Pandora, Apple Podcasts, and others. Make no mistake, this podcast sustains and implements three things: healing, forgiveness, and reconciliation within the Church of God. Thanks for listening.
Good day, friends. Good to see you tonight for the program and podcast, Wounded Hearts. Church, and we're glad you're here to be with us tonight. Good to see you. This program offers a counseling continuum. If you have issues about the church that's just burdening with you, you can contact us at the offices that we have here. We have two numbers for Wounded Hearts, Wounded Churches. The first number is 478-283-9093. Second number is 478-7600. And that's for our counseling continuum. We also have an email address for Wounded Hearts, and that address is reeeechon@AOL.com. You can also text us in. If you have questions, you can text in. And that text number is 866-538-3664. So again, glad you're here to be with us tonight. And you know, we got some folks that are burdened about unity also too. We've met some new friends in the past couple of months. They'll be on, Lord willing, next week for extensive program about what they're going through and what they went through. But today we have some folks that are burdened with unity and are praying about it. Pastor Brown from Wynne, Arkansas, and also our engineer, Tennille McLeod from the Atlanta, Georgia area. Pastor Mullins from Sylacauga, Alabama. Joanne Wingate, Mississippi, and Stella Cabin from the Ohio area. And those folks have a burden for unity. And saints, we do too, and I know you do too. So again, you're here tonight. Glad you are with us to talk about these situations, to bring about those three important areas we talk about quite often. Of course, reconciliation, healing, and forgiveness. What a beautiful combination, my friend. Those three things can create unity because we need one another more than ever. But tonight, a special friend of ours is here. He was here last week. And like I said last week, he's a busy guy. I can't imagine. New ministry, new pastorate, new congregation, new employment, new little one, and a new podcast he's on. So, Brother Steve, glad you're here tonight. It's good man for being here.
Thanks for having me.
He's from Moorhead, Kentucky, and we're just glad to have him here tonight to be part of the program. First of all, the church, tell us about it. Where can we contact you?
Well, first of all, I'll just say my background's a little different this week. I wanted to look more like you, Brother Prince.
Okay, let me know that in 6 months. When you follow that up in 6 months.
So our congregation, we're in Moorhead, Kentucky, but the name is Rodburn Church of God, RODBURN. That's the road that it's on. And we're located at 1477 East Main Street, Moorhead, Kentucky. And we have a website, www.rodburnchurchgod.com. We have Facebook, YouTube, where we're posting songs and sermons. That's just Rodburn Church of God if you type that in. And then also you can reach us at 503-730-2496. We'll be happy to talk to you.
The phone number one more time, please.
503-730-2496. And we have Sunday morning at 10:30, Sunday PM at 4 right now, and then Wednesdays at 6.
All right, let me say this. I'm excited. We got some young folks on today. Our engineer, our brother Cranston here, to give us a perspective of how the young folks see what's going on, because they're the future church. It's going on right now. So we want to hear from them, draw from them, and just see what is on their heart. All right, let's talk about Utah briefly. no churches in Utah. Am I correct?
Yeah, that's not the only state either. The Dakotas, Minnesota, to my knowledge, Iowa. I'm sure that there are saved people there, but as far as we would, consider, there's no congregations there that we know of. And so those are just a few off the top of my head, but there are many places that don't have a light shining, I guess you could say.
Friends, if you know anyone that lives in Utah that's saved or seeking truth, please let us know. You can contact us at the email reeeechone@aol.com, or you can call me on my cell phone, 478-283-9093. All right, so if you know someone in Utah, let us know ASAP. Thanks so much for that. Well, Steve, how can we, any more comments on your charts? Friends, he's got some charts here that are pretty accurate. They really are. I've checked them out. Churches around the country. If you want a copy, he may be able to sell you one at a reasonable price, I would think. Any more comments on the charts?
I really should hire you as my promotional man. uh, no, you can have them for free. And I also have a spreadsheet that is a little bit more up to date. And I can make that available if anyone wants that. But basically, that just has a list of congregations, contact information, who the pastor is, if there is one, whatever social medias that they might have. I just want it to be accessible so that if people are taking a trip or maybe just move somewhere, they can go and find out for themselves. It's not necessarily that I'm recommending or not recommending. I'm just putting the information out there.
Well, that's beautiful. That's nice to do because as people
Yes.
travel
It's
or fly, they
true.
know where to stop. I mean, that's
It's true.
beautiful. That's
Yeah.
that's why we want young folks to get involved with these things like this. They got some fresh ideas, some new eyes on things. Thank God for you all. I mean that. I really
Amen.
mean that.
Amen.
It's
Amen.
important. How can we encourage unity?
Well, if you want to start somewhere, a good place to start is forgiveness. Being able to forgive for things that have happened in the past. And for a younger generation, for my generation, most of these problems occurred well before we were even on the scene.
It's
But
true.
when you have an attitude of unforgiveness, a lot of times that's passed on down to the next generation, and the next generation is carrying this burden that they don't even know anything about. Um,
True.
and my worry is, God forbid, there are people that are going into eternity with unforgiveness in their heart.
Mm.
And that's a dangerous place to be. And so, if we want to start somewhere, we have to let the love of Christ in our hearts be shown about by forgiving one another and doing our best to reconcile. Reconciliation is important.
Amen.
You know, Brother Steve, I would, as a new convert some years ago, they would tell me what we stood for and what we stood against. And most of them couldn't even explain it. They couldn't. They said we just feel like this, and they could not explain
Yeah,
sanctification.
right.
Mm.
And it was funny. They're standing, but they can't break it down, and explain it themselves. But yet they stand for it or against it or whatever the place may be. And whatever their stand is, can they explain it and discuss it to make it make sense? And many times, those in my area that I was in Detroit, they were unable to do that. So forgiveness would be the first step in real unity and getting back together again.
Well, and not only that, but a lot of times you'll see people, because I agree, there are a lot of people that perpetuate ideas about other places when they've never been there. They don't know anything about those people. They're just going off of something that they've heard. And
True.
to me, it kind of reminds me, I love history. And if you read about the American Revolution, for example, uh, the Americans would use hit and run tactics or guerrilla warfare. And a lot of times, people will bash each other and then run away and not even give opportunity for a
Mm-hmm.
conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't help anyone. And so it is important that we have dialogue with one another
True.
and
Very true.
take time to sit down and try to work. Because if we don't try, um, I mean, I hate to say it again, but that's a dangerous spot to be in if we're not willing to try.
Right. And I mean, can't we discuss these things? I mean,
That's right.
I would
if
hope so.
I
I would
mean,
hope so.
sit down and discuss these things publicly if need be, and find out where we agree.
Well,
Because
brother Prince, one time I had somebody come up to me, and you know, growing up where I grew up, I had the label of a one cleanser,
Okay.
And if you go to church where in the circle that I was raised in, you'll never hear anyone refer to themselves as that. That's kind of I would say almost like a demeaning label that was put on. And so I had one person come up to me and they said, "You believe in once saved, always saved, don't you? You one cleanser." And I said, "I don't know who told you that, but you must be misinformed." But then on the other hand, I've heard some misconceptions and I've gone places and I've met people and I said, well, that's not accurate information, what I've heard. And so it is like what it is with anything. Once you meet people, you find out that if somebody really is doing their best to live for the Lord, they have a heart that wants to have unity.
And we can discuss these things
Right.
in a loving way.
Yes.
And can't God work these things out? I mean, can't
I believe
God
so.
work these things out? Man, oh man, oh man, oh man.
I believe that he can, but you know, the Lord wants us to do our part too.
It's true.
It's not just going to snap the fingers and then everything's fixed. We have to be willing to reach out. And the unfortunate thing is you have some people that are reaching out and they're just left hanging. And so, you know, I challenge younger people, I challenge older people, whoever else, don't be afraid to have a conversation. And if you don't know about something, just study it.
Right. Look it up.
Why do you think people are afraid to talk about it? What is the hesitation? What is it? Fear? Is it what's the cause for all this uncertainty?
Good question. Good question.
Yes, I've heard several things, and I think part of it is people are afraid of change, and it's the idea of what if I lose somebody to this other congregation? Because another unfortunate thing with the state that we see the church in is there are those who their ministry is built up by stealing sheep.
Sheep stealing.
Yep, wow. They go around and they just try to pick up all the disgruntled's and bring them along. And so a lot of people, I mean, I understand we just moved across the country. We sacrificed everything, had a good job that we loved, and we were comfortable where we were at. But we moved and are giving our life to this work here in Kentucky. And so you have a lot of ministers, they've given their life where they're at, and they're afraid of all their work being in vain just because somebody else may come along and influence people. But you can't throw the baby out with the bathwater, because there are people that are earnestly endeavoring for unity that do not have bad intentions.
And that's life.
Yeah.
Churches grow, and that's a life. But what I found out in these years, as a minister, as a pastor, the most important thing is to be in God's will.
Yes.
Whether you have 2,000 or 20 or 2, it's best to first be in God's will. That's the most important thing. So we thank you for that. What's your hope? What is your desire? What's your hope?
Well, my greatest hope is to have an impact where God's put us in our community. But because I believe sometimes we can get so focused on what's happening on the other side of the country. But so definitely working locally is our greatest hope, is to impact our community here. But on top of that, fellowship is important. It is important to have fellowship with people that are living right, especially in the religious landscape that we have today. There aren't a lot of people that profess holiness. And we all know how it is. When you go to a revival, when you go to a camp meeting, it's just so much better when you have all these people from all over the place coming and worshiping together, singing the same songs, all of that. It's encouraging.
It is.
And now more than ever, we need each other. We really do. And so I want to see some of these divisions mended, because I believe that we are being starved of friendships, marriages, all sorts of things, just because we're stuck in division.
And with that, we'll be right back. Take a break. Best is yet to come.
My name is Brian Jameson, the Church of God Line Upon Line Ministry, Inc. The Lord saved me in the year 2009, called me to preach about a year later. And around the year 2019, we started the Church of God Line Upon Line Ministry, Inc. The last few years, we've had the opportunity to work with Brother Moon and the saints there at Wounded Hearts, Wounded Churches. We sincerely feel that that he has a sincere desire for the unity of God's people, and we are honored to be able to work with him. We hope to see you at the Wounded Hearts, Wounded Churches podcast, and we just pray that the podcast will be a blessing to you. God bless. You can find us at www.youtube.com /at the Lineup Online Ministry Inc., or you can find us on the Facebook platform at www.facebook.com /Lineup Online Ministry Inc.
And we're back, Pastor Cranston, talking about unity, Kentucky area, new pastorate, new church, new job, and new podcast. We're glad he's here tonight. My friend, just want to get your comments on this. We asked the hindrances and the hope for unity. Want to get your comment. D.S. Warner in Sermon Index said, "No unity without holiness." What do you feel about that? No unity without holiness. What do you think about that?
The Bible is pretty clear that we have to walk in the light that God has given us. And so if we walk in the light as he is in the light, then we have fellowship with one another. So if we're walking in all the light that we have, I believe that we can have unity in that sense. But I do think holiness is important. We all believe that God cannot fellowship sin. And so holiness is necessary. But there are those whose levels of understanding vary. I mean,
Sure.
There are many people that have been saved twice or three times as long as I've been alive. And so I'm not to that level of understanding. There are some, I'm sure, that have forgotten more of the Bible than I've ever learned. And so we're all at different places. But yes, there is unity that's found within the Spirit. And also, I believe that if we're truly pursuing the Lord to the best of our abilities, he will open our eyes up to living a holy life. And the Christian will want to live right.
That's true. That's true.
That's true.
You know, and because I believe that if we come together and have differences in whatever area it is, and we both have the love of God in our hearts, that's burned up carnality, that's burned up ambition, that's burned up controlling, whatever it might be, I think we can get together and love one another. I mean, can't we? Because we're known by our love. I thought I read that in the Bible somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
shouldn't that be, all those things should be burned up and put out of the way where we can fellowship and love God together? If I'm wrong, tell me.
Well, I've quoted this verse, and it says, "By this shall all men know that ye are my disciples." It's if we have love for one another. At least I hope that's in the Bible. Otherwise, I don't know what I've been quoting.
Sure.
But yeah, anyway, I'm just joking. But yes, it's important that the world knows us by our love. And if the message that we show the world is that we can't even get along and all we're interested in doing is fighting like cats and dogs, that's not putting a very attractive picture forward to the world. But, I just wanted to say this as I was thinking about it. The Bible stylizes it like a body. And
Sure.
people have different talents.
Sure.
And I may not be as well versed in something that you're well versed in. You may have a knack for graphic design or a knack for music or preaching or whatever it may be. And if we are in division with one another, we can't benefit from each other's gifts.
That's true.
And it almost becomes that we're just competing with each other.
Competition, yeah.
Yes, and that's the sad reality is you got so many people, rather than working together, they're in competition with one another. And it's almost let's steal somebody from here, let's take somebody from there, and that's how we're really making an impact. Well, you're not actually making an impact on the outside community.
No, not at all. There was a guy who wrote a book years ago called Each One and Reach One. Growth in the church, there's growth when the couples have children, that's a growth. Mm-hmm. And of course, when a person gets saved, that's a growth.
Yes.
And also when people go from church to church, that's a growth. But not really. It's just a transferring of numbers, not a real church growth. And in this book, he lets us know that the least amount of growth are those that are being saved. We mentioned last week, when people have this unity, that affects our soul winning apparatus. What do you think about that, Brother Cranston?
100%. because I'm trying to tell you, there are people that have all sorts of varying different interests. And one thing I love to do is to connect people. I love to connect. If I know that you're interested in something that is maybe just something that's not sinful, but a hobby. For instance, I love to run. I want to talk to another saint that likes to run because that's something I'm interested in. Other people are interested in other things, and that builds camaraderie. And we need camaraderie if we want to be successful and really reach out to others. And that's the other thing is we can't win the world if we're so insular and just looking in. We can't win the world that way. I'm not saying that we become like the world, but we have to have methods of reaching out to the world.
And they have to see us in unity. So, friends, tonight you're able to contact us. A very important subject about unity of God's people. But Cranston, my mom and dad were married at 18 and 20 years old, and there were a couple of other fellas after her to marry her. Arvilla Gould, her name was, in Detroit back in about 1940. And she said what won her is my father's love. My dad loved my mother, and that got them through so many things. Difficult children. They had a son who was just a bonehead of a guy. This guy was on drugs, but they got through all of that. Married 50 years, went through the part of the depression and laid off, but that love kept those guys together. And that gave me an example of how to love my wife, and on and on and on. So if we can get back to that, to where we can let the Holy Ghost burn up the things that are not essential, that would really have an effect on the devil's kingdom.
True.
Your thoughts?
Yeah, and I've only been married for about 4.5 years, so I'm no expert, but just because I want hot dogs for lunch and my wife wants hamburgers doesn't mean that we get a divorce.
No.
And unfortunately, there are some differences in administration, but that's not necessarily a sinful thing.
No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not.
And we can look at maybe a difference of how somebody chooses to run their service, and we say, see, they're not spiritual because, but God hasn't called us to work in that community.
Right.
That community is totally different from the community I'm in. I mean, I'm in the hills of Kentucky dealing with a bunch of mountain. The tactics that we may use may not work in New York City.
Right. I've had pastors in my life, excellent pastors. I've had about 4 since I've been a child. They all were different in administrations. All were different. Yeah. But if I'm under them, I love them, but I'll work with them.
Yes.
Because I love them. So I'm able to work with them and submit to them, not in a slavish way, but in a supportive way. Right. And then when that type of unity goes a long, long way. Your thoughts on that, Brother Cranston?
I agree 100%. There is diversity in God's church. And I'm thankful that there's diversity. I'm talking more than just racial diversity. There's cultural diversity. There's diversity in interest, all these different things. And that benefits and strengthens the church. But if we look at each other suspiciously because of some of our differences, all that does is just hinder and I would even say stunt the growth of the church.
That's right. Very true.
Any comments from engineer?
No, not at the moment.
Any comments from engineer?
Yes, sir.
And I've been in a lot of ministers meetings in the past 4 years. And if ministers come together in love, that is a real big deal. You can work out a lot of things with that going on. Brother Cranston, what is your thoughts before we go tonight? The young folks that are watching these things, seeing these things occur, have been a part of this. Many have just given up on God, left the church. They've been chiming in the past 5 years. What is your message to them tonight?
Well, I was talking to one of them today, and they told me, they said, I'm so sick and tired of all the drama. I said, if this is the experience that I have to have in order to be accepted, I don't want to do it. And so I understand that. I don't think that they're crazy for feeling that way. I choose to look at it this way. If we want to see change, we have to be a part of that change. I have a love for the church, as I'm sure everyone listening tonight does. And if we really love the church, we got to be willing to endure some hard things. We can't just pack our bags and leave as soon as the going gets tough. Amen. And so to the young people that are looking at the situations that lie in front of us, it's gonna be on us. That's just the reality. It's gonna be on us. And so either we can sit around and complain and twiddle our thumbs, or we can roll up our sleeves and get to work and be willing to do some hard things.
And it can work.
Yes. Yes.
It can work.
Yes.
That's right.
I've seen it work. I've seen it work. I've seen situations where there was division, but love brought them back together.
Yeah.
I was there. I saw it. It works. Any questions, comments from our engineer?
No, sir, not nothing.
I want to say something
Please.
real quick with that. There was a situation. It was a misunderstanding, and I was the one that caused offense. And I didn't mean anything by it. And this particular person where this happened, they let me know. And, in that moment, I was warring against myself just as anyone else would. I said, I didn't mean anything by it. How dare they feel that way or whatever it may be. But if we really want to have unity, that also may mean that we have to make some apologies, make things right, even if we didn't even mean anything by that.
True. That's true.
And it's not easy to do that. Growing up, my best friend's dad, he would tell me, he'd say, a real man never apologizes.
Wow.
I disagree with that 100%.
Wow.
A real man
Wow.
knows that he can humble himself and apologize.
It's
Wow.
true.
Before we go, the friend that came to you, was it anything major? Was it major? I mean, catastrophic or?
A lot of times it's just a buildup of little things. There are some hard situations where it's a giant hurdle for some
Right.
people. I know that's happened, but a lot of times it's a buildup of little grievances. But when an attitude of love has not been manifest,
True.
those things build up over time like a dam holding back a bunch of water. Eventually, the dam's going to break.
The person that came to you about your indiscretion, was it a small thing, big thing? Was it? I mean, you don't have to go into. I mean, how would you rate it?
It was pretty small.
Okay. Well, okay. Now, shouldn't love cover that? I mean, on their part, shouldn't love have covered that and just go on and praise the Lord?
Well,
I would think.
I don't have a problem with them coming to me, because if it caused a problem to them, if I'm spiritual, I should be able to recognize, I'm sorry that I offended you. So I know sometimes people get caught up in petty things, but if it matters to somebody else, I want to do my part to make it right. And I think part of the problem also is I would rather have somebody speak out about something that is causing them a problem than just internalize it. And there's already been a division that's happened silently.
I agree.
Speaking on that, what I find surprising is that a lot of times is not, as Pastor mentioned, it's not doctrinal, because I've seen where people have the same doctrine still split. So it's not these big hurdles. It's these little things, and it's very shocking to me to see what's,
I told you all before the program began, a lot of these things are just purely politics. And, that's the ugly truth. Some people may dismiss that and say, well, he's just young, he doesn't know what he's talking about. A lot of these things are just politics.
Brother Cranston, when I was in Detroit, I was working as a counselor, and I would have to preach to the guys. I came in with a gray shirt on, and the guy says, that shirt you got on is worldly. So I took it home and put it in the trash. My wife said, you get that shirt out of that trash right now. Nothing wrong. And so sometimes we can follow people's lead.
Yeah.
And it be off. But again, that person, what you said is true. I agree. But also that person should have had enough of the Holy Ghost to love you enough to say, hey, he didn't mean it.
That's true.
Yeah.
That was not his intention. Because I know that guy loves me, and just go on.
Yes. There is a ditch that's on both sides of the road, without a doubt.
Mm-hmm.
But if we really want to see long suffering, we're going to have, or if we really want to see unity, you may have to be the long suffering one.
Right.
And I've told the people there in Kentucky this, I say, you're never going to be wrong for treating somebody right.
Amen. Say that one more time, brother. That's beautiful.
You're never going to be wrong for treating somebody right. Like I said, Brother Prince, he's my promotional manager. Get me all hyped up.
That should be a song.
Yes.
That should be a Church of God song. Beautiful, beautiful. Well, friends, our time is gone tonight. Brother Cranston, thanks so much. Give us your number one more time, please.
503-730-2496. And you can find us at Rodburn, RODBURN, churchofgod.com, or just type those into Facebook or YouTube.
Any questions from our engineer?
No, sir. We're all set.
Again, friends, if you know anyone in Utah, please contact my office. We want to find out about that big stake there. Salt Lake City is the capital. My personal number is 478-283-9093. You can email me at reeeechone@aol.com. Thanks so much. May the Lord bless you. Have a good night.
Good morning.
Amen.